Hey guys, this is Mike from Lotl Axolotls, and today we're going to be talking about how to properly set up your axolotl tank and how to care for an axolotl. Let's begin. So the first thing you're going to want to do if you already own an aquarium is you want to try and find out how many gallons is my aquarium. This is important because it's only recommended to have one axolotl per every 10 gallons. So what does that mean? That means that basically if you have a 10-gallon tank, you should only house one axolotl. If you have a 20-gallon tank, you should only be housing 2 axolotls, so on and so forth. If you do not have an aquarium already, then you'd probably want to figure out how many axolotls you want so you can decide how many gallons you can go out and purchase. So your next step after you've purchased your aquarium is to get it up and running. Now, the first thing you want to start off with is cycling your tank. Cycling your tank is not really an option, it's kind of mandatory. You should be cycling any type of aquarium that is housing any type of aquatic animals in it. But once you have all that set up, basically you're going to need what looks like this. So for any type of substrate, you're going to need either bare bottom, which means nothing, or sand. Gravel is not recommended for axolotls because it can accidentally be ingested while they're eating, which could cause harm to the axolotl and potentially death. Another thing is you're going to need some hiding places. For example, this ship. This ship here has a hole in the front and a hole in the back. The ship for now is a good size, but as the axolotl grows it will end up outgrowing the ship, since axolotls do generally grow around 8 inches. Another hide that I do have in this aquarium, which is a little bit better because it can go throughout the entire axolotl's lifespan, is this piece of tubing. This tubing for now is a little bit small just because I'm in the process of getting more, but eventually I'll add a piece of tubing here and a piece of tubing in the back, which will double or even triple the size of the tubing. Now, filters. Filters are not mandatory, but they are highly recommended. The reason that a filter is not mandatory is because axolotls have external gills, which are these feather-looking things on the top. The reason we recommend the filter is to keep the tank clean and balance out your cycle, which is extremely important because without a balanced cycle, you're going to end up crashing it, and you're going to run into a lot of problems. Some driftwood and aquarium plants are also a nice idea to add. The axolotls do enjoy climbing up them. So I'm just going to come up to the top over here and give you an example of what just a regular bare bottom aquarium would look like. So as you can see, I still have my filter just to kind of keep everything clean. Now I'll just show you another tank that I have fully set up, which is this tank here. Now this tank was my very first tank, which is why it's done up more than all the other ones. So I have back here, which is like a wood castle with hiding under there. I also have a couple plants which are pretty good. I have tubing in the back again, and I have this rock cave over here which is big enough to house 2 to 3 axolotls in. So now let's talk a little bit about feeding. So feeding will vary depending on the size of your axolotl. For example, this tank here is my adult tank, so the axolotls will eat every 2 to 3 days on live earthworms. This tank over here is also big enough to eat live earthworms, so these axolotls are eating those as well. And this tank up here is just off the bloodworms and onto live earthworms. And my tank at the bottom over here, which is my smallest one, they are currently still on bloodworms because they are too small to eat earthworms. Alright, so now I'm just gonna feed them a little bit of the axolotl pellets while I kind of just talk to you guys a little bit more. So a lot of people wonder if these are freshwater or saltwater, and yes, they are freshwater, and no, they are not tropical. If you want to keep them with any type of tank mates, which is not highly recommended because a lot of tank mates that you would probably house them with would be tropical, and a lot of them would also nip on the gills. Temperature wise, these axolotls should be staying at around 65 to 70 degrees Fahrenheit, which is about room temperature. So I guess I'll just wrap it up since I can't really think of much more to say right now, but I can assure you that there's definitely a lot more to talk about. When I think about some more things to talk about, I'll definitely be posting. Please like, subscribe, and watch out for some new videos. Hope you guys all enjoyed.